So we're good to go, guys. So well done. Thank you for joining us today. There should be a few more coming. We're going to get cracking. We're going to do this thing. It's going to be awesome. Oh, you don't have to mute yourself, bro. You're good. I need you talking.
Okay.
These guys have heard enough.
Trying to be respectful. Trying to be respectful.
Yeah,
You're speaking.
You're a respectful man, dude. This is why you're on. This is why I want you. This is why I want you. I want you here. I need you here, bro. Yeah. Cool.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, bro. Okay, cool. So people probably don't know you already, Io, which is absolutely fine. You're from London and you were part of the Stop Holding Back movement, which is a brilliant idea. Well, it's a movement. I think it's a philosophy. And I was fortunate enough already to have to meet Io in person when we had an event this time last year, actually, bro. I think, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to hear his whole story, and it was amazing. It was so cool, and it was amazing and cool because it was full, like jam-packed, full of challenge, full of pain, full of judgment, full of stuff that the average person should not have to endure, to be honest. But there was greatness in there as well, by the way. There was pleasantries, there was wonderfulness, and all I want to do today is, guys, I want you to hear Io's story. And try and grab out the resilience and what he did to get through that. And we're going to go through some tips as well and work through some tips together to get through that. Now, just everyone watching, Io and I had a bit of a conversation before this. There's an adult conversation that we can have, which is very serious, and it touches on some very serious points in life. And there's kind of like the toned down version. And we're going to go through the toned down version today because I think that's fair for you guys. Eventually, at some point, maybe if it's cool with Io, we can get in the future with adults and we can talk about that. But I do not have every parent's permission to talk about the in-depth things that Io went through. We've had a discussion anyway. And I just want to say, dude, first of all, it's a privilege to have you on. These kids are great. They're going to ask you some questions at the end, if that's okay. So, bro, from the top, who are you? What are you doing right now? And a little cheeky backstory. You got the free reign, man. Go.
Wow, this is a great chance for me to be on here to explain myself, explain my story, how I got to this point. So I just want to thank you, Dale, again, having me on here. And before I really get started, it's the hardest thing for me to actually speak, to communicate, to even say my name. I found it for the longest time. I'm 29 years old and I only developed the courage to even say my first name over the past 2 years. And even now I struggle to say my own name. And that's because I have a speech impediment, and that's called a stutter or a stammer. A stutter or a stammer is when a person finds it very difficult to get sounds out their own mouth, words out, phrases. They find it very difficult to express themselves. So if you can imagine, you're with your friends, and your friends are having a great conversation about a game they found on the PS3 or the PS4. And you're trying to get involved in that conversation, but you can't, because when you open your mouth, you you make those type of sounds. You hesitate, you start to sweat, and then you choke, and you can't breathe. And that's the type of experiences I've had for my whole life and still have today. But what I've done in the past 2 years is I've learned some techniques which you're about to see, which help me get my words out, and they give me the courage to not care as much about how I'm speaking, but to focus more on why I'm speaking and the message I'm trying to get out. So that's a bit about stammering or stuttering. So let's get to my story. So I have no idea, literally the first time I started to stutter. I've asked my parents, when did you notice, mum and dad, the first time I couldn't say a word or a sound? And my parents have no idea, which is not helpful, right? So
No way.
as I, as I started to grow up, 10, 11, 12, I started to notice myself in the playground around my friends, that my friends were talking really quickly, really fast, and they were having a good time, but I really couldn't get involved. I really couldn't say words. I always struggled. I always had to use a lot of power in my lungs, in my chest, use a lot of force just to get a couple words out, just to introduce myself even. I struggled a lot. So I found it very difficult to integrate, to make friends in the playground. And that carried on till the age of 23, all the way through school, all the way through college, all the way through university. I had a very toned down life. So when I was 13, this is when it hit me the most, when I realized that I had a problem at that time. In English, I was told to read out a poem. I was 13, and I the poem was in my hand. I got told to stand up. The teacher knew I had a stutter or stammer. I stood up. I had the poem in my hand like this. I looked down. I looked up. I saw I saw my best friend at the back of the classroom. He was a female at the time, and she stared right into my eyes. And I knew that she was under some sort of pressure, because she knew what I was feeling. I looked back up and I began to read the poem, and I couldn't get a word out. So after about a minute of struggling, I got told to stop, and I had to leave to have more practice with a special aids teacher. So we practiced in a little quiet room for about 20 minutes, and I read this poem over 10, 15 times. And it felt fine. The poem came out and I read the poem, was fine. But then I had to go back into the English class and try again. And I did that. I looked down into my hands, about to read this poem, and I couldn't get a word out. And that's when I knew I had a problem. And from that day forward, I was so self-conscious of my stammer, my stutter, that it transformed my whole personality, totally transformed who I was and how I felt about myself. Fast forward, college, I'm 18. I have a bit more confidence now. I go to the gym now. I've got a bit of muscle. As we try to mask our insecurities by doing other things. So the gym for me was a way to hide my insecurity about my speech. So I went to the gym, I got some muscle, I had a bit more confidence. But in the end, it didn't make a difference, because when I tried to apply for jobs, I tried to make new friends, I tried to find a girlfriend, it was always there. And no amount of muscle on my chest could help that. So I struggled again there. Fast forward now I'm in university, I'm 21 years old. On the first day of meeting my new colleagues or my friends or the people I was living with at university, I met a guy called Nuge, and he asked me for my name when we met in the lobby of our new dormitory where people live, our flat. He grabbed my hand like this and he said, "Hey bro, what's your name?" and I'm going to show you all exactly what that was like. Hey, bro, what's your name? Hey, yo, that was exactly what it was like. And again, my world came tumbling down. It came tumbling down again. And he looked at me like I was on something else, like I was crazy. I wasn't normal. I was not the same as him. My name is Ayo. It's Ayo. That is my name. That is my name. And I can say that now more often than not. But back then, I couldn't. And the pain it caused me was immense. Fast forward, I've left university. I can't get a job. Can't find a relationship. I was suffering from extreme sadness. December 2015, I was in my kitchen. I was thinking, what am I gonna do? I've left university. I can't speak, can't even say my name. I can't get a job. I can't do nothing at all. What am I going to do with my life? Communication is key. You can't get on in this life without being able to express yourself. It's a normal human thing to do. I was suffering from extreme sadness and I was about to do something really silly, really, really silly. But in that moment, I made a decision. I made a decision that I was not going to go left. I made a decision that I was not about to quit on myself, on my family, on my friends. I was going to go right. And then I found some help. I found some help. I have no idea. Maybe it was God or energy or the universe, but something came over me and pushed me to go right and not left. And I found the help. And I began to work on myself. The point is, I never gave up, but I had to get support. And this is the message of my story. Don't be afraid to ask for support. Don't be afraid to ask your friends and family for support. You are not an island. You're not an island. You're part of a larger community. You have your mom, your dad, your friends. Use them. They're here to support you. And that's what I did after 23 years of suffering by myself, thinking I could hold it all in and not ask for support. Cut a long story short, I went on this program. It helped me learn some techniques to control my speech for the most part. So now I can communicate like this, whereas before I couldn't even have the confidence to get on a Zoom call like this and talk to kids and parents about my story. I would never have done this 3 years ago, never, but now I can. And I still stutter and I still struggle, but it's okay because it's part of me and I'm not gonna allow it to hold back my life anymore, because time does not wait for no one. Time, seconds, minutes, hours, days, years go by. You have to make the decision to find out what you want to do, what you love, and go for it. And not wait for someone's permission or for you to feel stronger or better or for you to be in the right place or for you to have the right friends. Just do it. Believe in yourself and ask for support. So after I had got some help, I felt like it was my mission to help other people who have a stammer and stutter, like myself. And I called this organization Stop Holding Back, because that was the message I was telling myself when I was going through my process of healing, to stop holding myself back. And I read a book by a man called John Harrison, who also had a stammer, and he talked about the stammer as in holding back. So he did not use the word stammer. John used the word holding back. So if he was having a bad speaking experience, John would say, I was holding back. I can't speak at this moment because, not because I stammer, but because I was holding back. I wasn't, because the stammer is not important. It's the fact that you're allowing your stammer to hold you back, or you're allowing your insecurities about yourself to hold you back, or your judgments from your friends to hold you back. That's what is really holding you back, not the thing you think you're dealing with. So now I help tons of people around the world who have stammers, who can't say their name. And we have this charity, it's called the StopHoldingBack Foundation. It's my baby, I love it, and we're trying to grow it. But it's more than about speech. Yes, the people involved all have speech difficulties, but it's all about the mentality. It's all about the mindset of not allowing whatever disability you have, insecurity you have, or position you think you're in life to hold you back. You can always find a way if you make a decision to do it, to at least try. Never give up. And always ask your friends, family, parents for support. They're there for you, and they will help you if you keep asking. So always keep asking. And that's my story, guys. Just want to say my name one more time. It's Ayo, and I can now say my name.
Dude, that was
Ayo.
fast. That was all right, guys. Can we all unmute ourselves and give Ayo a clap just there, please? Let's do that. Let's give him a clap. That's really cool. That was so strong, man. That was strong. That was solid. Absolutely. Look at all these people, man. Epic. So cool. And you've really, really, I can't wait for these guys to ask questions at the end and say what they want to say at the end.
Yep.
For now, we're going to keep the flow going. So guys, that was the first time we've done that. That was absolutely amazing. So if you want to just quickly mute yourselves again, everybody, because I just want to say to Ayo as well that I every single time I hear that story, it affects me more than the first time. And it really makes me think about my life. It makes me think about my insecurities. It makes me think about what I deserve and what I want to do and what I become. And even though I think highly of myself, I always think there's always that 1% more I can deliver, how I can be better for other people around the world. And you said disability, and I don't know. I think it's more different ability. I don't think it's a disability at all. I think it's a different ability, because if you look at it as if a different ability, I think that this is actually your bro. This is your superpower, because just think about all the thousands of people you're helping around the world. You've just affected 8 other people now with your story. So you think that this is a disability. I think it's a different ability, and it's like your superpower that can help encourage people. Just think about we never know who we're inspiring, and I think that your story, when people hear it, it may give them enough to take action in their life and think, you know what, I'm going to do something, man. I'm going to do something. It could be enough to be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to stand up to that bully. Do you know what? I've just heard our story. I'm not going to contemplate doing this silly thing. You know what? I'm going to speak to somebody. I'm going to speak to my mom. Mom, I feel like I'm really sad. I just need some help. Maybe you could help me, or is there a YouTube that I could watch, or someone around the world that can help? Mum, I feel really angry and I feel like out of control, and it's doing my head in, and I don't know what to think. And I don't want to be this way because I know that it upsets you, but you know, I need your help with this, you know? So bro, thank you so much for having the courage, for sharing that story. I know all these people here are so grateful for it as well. I really do.
I just want to add something, Dale, if that's okay.
Please.
For me, it took me many years to learn that it's okay to share your feelings. That is something I never learned from my parents, and that is not the fault of my parents. My parents were raised in the same way. My parents weren't raised to show and express their feelings and be honest about how they feel. But that was the key for me, feeling that I could express myself and release some of my pain and all the worries I had, all the insecurities I had about myself, being able to feel I have permission to tell another human being about it. That's what set me free at the first stage, being able to talk about my feelings. And I think kids should talk to your parents and tell them how you feel all the time, so they can make adjustments and help you out, and help you grow into a good human being who's well-rounded, who's resilient, who's strong, who's not afraid to cry. Crying is awesome, man. Crying is awesome. Don't be afraid to cry. I cry a lot these days, you know. I listen to music and I cry, and I make myself cry on purpose so I can release tension, release anxiety. You know, it helps a lot to cry. And if you're a man, if you're a little boy and you've been told you shouldn't cry, that's a lie. Crying will help you.
Mate.
Yeah, just express yourself.
Bro, that's sick. Exactly. I often tell this story to people as well. I was the same. Okay, so my mum and dad, I love them so much. It was beautiful. You know, do anything for them. They gave me permission to be upset and share my feelings. They didn't really emphasize it, but I don't know where I got it from. I think I got it from a coach or something when I used to do athletics. I don't know, but I didn't think it was okay to cry. I didn't think it was the best thing to do, because I didn't want to show weakness. I wanted to be the man. I wanted to be alpha. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be, you know, the best in the world, which is and to do that, you're not allowed to cry because men don't cry. Literally don't know where I got that from, and it was wrong. And my brother's gay, and I was an idiot because I wasn't there for him. I supported him through the whole of his life. When he was being bullied, I used to fend for him physically and emotionally. I used to be there for him. But when he came out, I didn't support him, and I thought, and looking back now, I thought, Dale, why? And I'm telling you this story because this is my vulnerability. This is my insecurity. I don't like sharing this story at all because it makes me look like an idiot. I hate looking like an idiot. But I feel as if this needs to come out because it's when I wasn't there for my brother, and I was in the wrong crowd, and they used to take the mick and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Oh, gay boy. And I was like, yeah, gay boy, yeah, like that. And like looking back now, I know you should never live with regret. And I know that. And I'm working through it with my coach. But it's like, I feel as if, I feel guilty for it. So I feel regretful for it. Because I hated the fact that he was going through this alone. And I hated that so much. Because it wasn't normal back then, you know, and it so should be. And what it is normal. It should have been back then. That's what I'm trying to say. And then I closed that book. I closed it, and I carried on, you know, living and stuff. And it was only until I say recently, around about 2 years ago, with my girlfriend now, Laura, I was watching a movie called Love, Simon, and it was a brilliant movie. It was really good. And basically what happened was, it was a high school movie in America where this kid didn't know if he was gay or straight or whatever. He was going through his thoughts and his sexuality, and he came, and eventually somebody found out that he was gay and told the whole school. So they stole his chance to come out to people, and it's very, very heartbreaking. And guess what I was thinking about? Boom. I thought of my brother, obviously. And every single time I used to tell this or think about it before what I'm about to tell you, I cried. I felt like, and I went to the toilet, or I went out the house, or I went away, I went for a run, I did some boxing, or I did lifted weights, like you. I lifted weights, and I was building my armor on the outside so nobody could come close. The bigger I felt just here, people wouldn't think that I'm weak for crying because they look how muscly Dale looks. False, because inside I was aching, On the inside I was crying, on the outside I was faking it. And then this boy, Simon, he came out to his best friend. And I was laying on the couch like this, with Laura here, and I was giving her a cuddle. We were just watching the movie. And he came out to his friend, and I felt a warm sensation go down my cheek. Well, it went down that way because I was laying down. And it was like, oh, it's weird. I ignored it, and I carried on watching it. And then Simon came out to his mom, and I felt the biggest pain in my throat just there, like, oh. Who here has ever held back tears? Who here has ever held back anger? Who here has ever held back sadness? I've done all of those things. I'm sure you guys as well. And it freaking hurts. It freaking hurts. I can tell you that right now. And the pain was physical. I'm holding back an emotion, but it's hurt me physically. What? How does that work? It works. It happens. And I was in so much tension, and I felt myself shaking, and I felt myself flooding down with tears just here. And I was still going on when like this. I can't show Laura that I'm crying because men don't cry, and she'll think I'm a weak and she'll break up with me. And I was scared of that. Bro. And then when my brother came out to my dad, in fact, I'll tell you that bit in a second. Then Simon came out to his dad, and I lost it. I was uncontrollable. I couldn't hold it back. I wasn't strong enough to hold it back. And I let it out, and I was shaking. I was going up and down. And I've never seen someone turn their head so fast. I thought she was like an owl. I thought her head was going to fall off. Laura went really, really, really quickly, and I couldn't disguise it. I had no chance. And she said, "Are you crying?" And I had a decision to go to the toilet or to run out the house or to do something different. But instead, I lay there and I said, "Yeah, I am." And I lost it, and I was bawling it. And she turned around and she squeezed me so tight. She didn't break up with me. She didn't think I was a loser. She didn't think I was less of a man. She squeezed me so tight. It hurt, man. It hurt. And I was shaking. Snot was going down my face. I was bawling it. I was crying. And the pain, I had no pain no more. I didn't have any pain no more. There was nothing. I released it, and and for me doing what I'm doing, I felt like, I was living a lie, not releasing, and now I'm completely vulnerable. I let it all out. If it's crying, and I felt, no, it's not strength holding it back. It's strength letting it go. It's strength releasing it. It's strength to stop holding it back, to be in that zone. And the reason why I think I cried at that when he came out to his dad was because my dad in real life, I was scared. I thought Dad thought that, gay people are, whatever. I thought that. I've never been so wrong in my entire life. And my dad, I love my dad. He's my role model. He was, it just exploded in my mind and my heart. It was crazy because Kyle said, my brother, he said, "Dad, I think I'm gay." And my dad looked at him and said, "Well, are you happy?" And he said, "Yeah." And Dad said, "Well, let's get a Nando's then." So we never know. I know it's scary to release. It's scary to do a big abseil. It's scary to do a zip line. It's scary to do these physical things, but it's even more scary to release your vulnerabilities, So I want to thank Io for helping me release that story to you guys. And I think it's really important. In fact, I would like your homework, everybody watching this, your mission, not homework, your mission is to every day at a certain time have an emotional release or an emotional counsel session or something. And you can pretend to be counselors, and I want you to release your feelings. And here's how we do it. We play this game a lot. All I want you to do is get some Skittles, okay? Put them in a bowl, get one Skittle out, don't look, and if it's a red one, tell your feeling of anger. Mom, Dad, I felt angry today because you did this, and I need to control it because of this. Cool, blah, blah, blah. How do I make you feel? If you go in again, pick a purple one. Oh, that's my excitement one. Pick a yellow one. What emotion is that? Happy. You see, I'll write all these notes in me because I don't want to steal any more of Io's time. But that's what I want you to do. So Io, dude, is there anything you want to add? Because we're going to have a 5-minute break. Well, we're going to come off in 5 minutes and we're going to come back on to ask some questions if that's okay, mate. So
yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, cheers, bro. So go on.
I just want to say I've learned a bit, not a bit, a lot right now from your story, and now I'm going to implement some of those things in my life and the people that I help. So thanks for that story. Thanks for sharing. You can always learn from people who do the same thing as you or something similar, and you're great, bro, at what you do. So cheers.
Oh,
thank you for listening, kids, as well.
I appreciate that, man. You're going to make me cry in front of these people, and that's okay. So, dude, that was awesome. I love that so much. Is there, before we do go on, I just want to make sure that people can, if you're okay with people finding you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Where can people find you, dude?
You can find me on Facebook. You just write my full name in Zoom, as you see in Zoom, AOD Adesanya. That's on Facebook. Find me on Instagram, AO.StopHoldingBack, AO.StopHoldingBack. And we have a charity website, StopHoldingBack.org, StopHoldingBack.org.
That's awesome.
That's where you can find me. And on YouTube, if you put my whole name, my first name, and the word stammer, you'll find a lot of stuff from me on YouTube.
Oh, dude, I'm going to subscribe. I'm just starting my YouTube channel now. I'm going to start editing it today. That's cool, man. I'm going to be a subscriber.
Thank you, man.
No worries, brother. That's cool. So,
one more thing.
Please,
sorry.
Yeah, carry on, man. Carry on.
We do daily podcasts on a charity Facebook page. Stop Holding Back Now. That's a charity. If you put on Facebook, Stop Holding Back, that page will come up straight away. And we do a daily podcast where we talk about mindset and helping kids, teenagers, parents, people who have it's more geared to people who stutter, but I'm sure you can gain something out of it if you want to check in.
That's it. Nice one, bro. I think people are checking on that now already. Epic. Dude, just a quick question. Were you a bit nervous, a bit scared of coming on today?
Of course I was, man. I had to meditate for 10 minutes before I came on. Yeah, you found it.
Yeah.
You found my website. Kevin, nice one, yeah. So I had to meditate. Thanks, Kevin. Really appreciate that. I had to meditate, bro, for 10 minutes. Had to breathe. And I had to tell myself that it's okay to stammer, because I still have these thoughts that say it's not, I have to try not to stammer. I have to be fluent. I have to speak like you, Dale, because you are really, really good at public speaking. So I felt like I have to, he's going to be like this, so I have to match him. So I have to tell myself, no, that's Dale. That's what he's good at. This is what I'm good at. I don't have to compete with him. We are both good at different things, and it's okay. I'm still a man. I'm still a man. It's okay. So I had to really have to tell myself this every day, because I'm still have my demons around stuttering. I'm not all the way there. I'm not perfect, but I'm far enough to help people behind me. That's how I see it.
Mate, that's it. That's cool, man. I love that. So everyone hearing he was scared. That's brilliant. And everyone's got their own strengths. And I think it's more powerful for Io to come on knowing that he's scared compared to, well, I know we shouldn't compare, but for me, I'm not scared. I know you guys now, and I love that. It's brilliant. I know people are going to be watching this. I'm comfortable with that. So if anything, I've excelled today this much, and I've excelled today this much. But what can I do for me personally to get up here? What can I do? I need to figure that one out today. All I've got to do is show up and be enthusiastic. So, dude, this has been absolutely stupidly awesome. People are finding you again. There's Kieran Panda.
Thanks, Kieran. Thanks, Kieran. You're a legend, mate. You're a legend.
Get away. Meet yourself. Say goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye.